Hi, and welcome to another edition of Stream of Consciousness. You know, it's been over 5 months since I did one of these, and today might be one of the most profound stream of consciousnesses I've ever done. And to be honest with you, it is very unlikely that you're going to be able to see this video on traditional outlets like YouTube and Facebook. I'm pretty much 99% sure that this video is going to be censored, and therefore I'm going to need to put it up on other venues. Now, why is that? Now, today I don't want to talk to you about something that is sexually explicit, which should be censored. I don't want to talk to you about extreme violence, which should be censored. I want to talk to you about something that is right now being censored on a wide scale. I want to talk to you today about, once again, about COVID-19, but other issues as well, because our society is streaming towards a communist, socialist environment. Now, that may seem like an incredibly conspiratorial thing to say, but give me a moment to explain what I mean. We are in a situation right now where so many people are being censored. Their content is being stopped. As a matter of fact, today, I just learned about an author who had the boldness to talk about, and not even a Christian, mind you, but someone who just had the boldness to say that there's problems with the number of cases of girls getting sex change operations. Not only was her YouTube video censored by YouTube, but her book has been banned by Amazon. Now think about that. We are now in a culture where we're banning books and we're censoring free speech. I'm speaking to you on a platform that is likely, as I said to you before, is likely to ban me or censor me in some way or put some kind of tagline on what I'm about to say. You can talk about sex, you can even show explicit content on YouTube and it's not even censored. You can show explicit content on Twitter. You can say things and do things on Facebook. In fact, the Ayatollah Khomeini, who talks about death to America, is not censored on many of these platforms. But if you dare to say something that is only, quite frankly, truth and common sense, it is likely you'll be censored if you don't follow the narrative that's already been set out. And all the time, heads of Twitter, heads of Facebook, heads of Google are all saying, we're not censoring anybody. They're lying, flat out lying. There was a man that maybe some of you are familiar with, depending on how old you are and depending on how much history you've been exposed to, but there was a man named Joseph Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels was the propaganda minister for Adolf Hitler. We've heard a lot about Adolf Hitler lately. It seems like every conservative is being labeled Adolf Hitler. In fact, the President of the United States has been labeled Adolf Hitler more times than I can count. He doesn't even slightly resemble the acts of Adolf Hitler if you study history. But that aside, Adolf Hitler had a propaganda minister named Joseph Goebbels. Joseph Goebbels' purpose was to present Adolf Hitler in a positive light. So in terms of film and media, his number one responsibility was to make sure that Adolf Hitler always looked strong and powerful and resplendent. His armies were always seen as bigger than they actually were. Joseph Goebbels created the image of Adolf Hitler on film, created the image of him in all media. He also created media that depicted Jewish people as the enemy of the German people. I want you to think about this for a moment. The German people didn't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I'm going to send my neighbor to a gas chamber. You know what, I think I'm going to turn one of my neighbors into a bar of soap. And some of the other heinous acts that were done to the Jews during World War II. That didn't happen overnight. It happened because a propaganda minister named Joseph Goebbels repeatedly, over and over again, kept telling stories about how the Jews were responsible for the poverty in Germany. The Jews were responsible for the economic problems in Germany. The Jews were responsible for every single problem they had. It could all be tied back to the Jews. And this was fed to the population over and over and over and over again. And the more that they were fed it, the more they believed it. And before long, they began to accept the ideas of Jews having their windows broken in their stores of persecuting them, putting them on trains. And the German people looked the other way because propaganda had gradually acclimated their minds to think that it was okay to hate the Jewish people. Folks, we are in a situation right now in our country, here in the United States, which to my mind is very similar. We are being fed propaganda by CNN, by MSNBC, by Fox News, by every media outlet that I can even name. We are being fed propaganda by censoring any information on YouTube. It's very difficult to find good information on YouTube anymore. Very difficult to find good information on Twitter. There have been people in our government who have been banned. You know, the CDC has been banned a couple of times for reporting what they have found. The Center for Disease Control, the one where we're supposed to get all of our information about COVID-19, several of their articles I put up on Facebook and I was censored. They basically screened it out and said, we're not going to allow you to share this information. In addition to that, their algorithms are designed in such a way to keep your posts from going out any further than 2 or 3 people. They're doing it behind the scenes and they're doing it right to your face. We are living in that world right now. Now, I'm not saying this just to frighten you or to create a new conspiracy or to go out and tell you about the Illuminati. I'm not crazy. I'm just an observer of culture and what's going on right now. And one of the things that I want to share with you, and all of my streams of consciousness talk about this whole dynamic of COVID-19. You can go back and listen to them. One of them was already banned. It's not even on YouTube, not even allowed to be discussed on YouTube. And again, it's not an extreme position. I was just literally talking about what was going on in our culture. I looked at both sides of the issue. I discussed both sides of the issue, in my mind, very fairly. But one of my YouTube videos was banned. And I have almost no doubt that this one will be too, because I'm speaking up. I'm saying something that needs to be said. COVID-19 is influenza. If you look it up in the dictionary, COVID-19 is influenza. You'll find it on the back of a Lysol can. Long before there was COVID-19, you could deal with COVID by using Lysol because COVID is influenza. What is influenza? It is the flu. COVID-19 is one of the strains of a flu virus. Now, in some cases, it's a very serious flu. When we're talking about COVID-19, I, for example, just attended a funeral last weekend. A woman died from COVID-19, or that's what it says on her death certificate. What it doesn't say is that she went into the hospital with a stroke. The stroke, she got pneumonia. Then she was brought to a nursing home where one of the workers at the nursing home had COVID-19. She got COVID-19 and she died from COVID-19. Technically speaking, that's correct. But in truth, I can tell you that my own parents went into the hospital with various diseases, and what finally killed them was something as simple as the flu. And you'll hear this in the past, you know, someone so-and-so died of a staph infection. Well, what happened is they went into the hospital with a more serious malady, and then they got something in the hospital that eventually brought them to a place of dying. We're getting information from these convoluted statistics that are not telling us the truth about COVID-19. We're shutting down schools. In my state, they've shut down the public school until after Christmas. Children don't get COVID-19. I mean, it's rare that children ever get it. Rare. They shut down the school. Why? Half of the classes are virtual. The person who got COVID-19 is not even attending school. They're in a virtual classroom, but they still close the entire school down. It's insanity. Now, why is this happening? I have to say to you, and this is, again, my thoughts on this. This is my stream of consciousness. When I look around the country and look what's going on with COVID-19 right now, we should not be shut down. We should not be locking down. We're wearing masks. I mean, it's common for me to driving down the street and see people who are walking alone down the street with a mask on. People driving in their cars with a mask on. And there is significant evidence. I mean, not just, weird stuff. Significant evidence that shows that masks do almost nothing to prevent the spread of this disease. I mean, it's like infinitesimal. In addition to that, more than 99% of all cases of COVID-19 do not end in death. We've shut down the world. Who's gotten the money out of that? That's the question to ask. Follow the money. Jeff Bezos has absolutely doubled his wealth. Why? because people are buying online. They're not buying at stores. Isn't that what he wanted all along? Bill Gates, wealth has gone up astronomically. Zuckerberg, people are on Facebook more. Twitter, Dorsey, people are on Twitter more. COVID-19 has created the environment where these companies, these tech companies, have exponentially grown in wealth. And they are the ones that are pressing this idea. We need to close. We need to put masks on. We need to be afraid of this virus. We need to hunker down. Some people are saying we shouldn't do anything about this. We should keep wearing masks and we should shut down businesses for the next year. How does that benefit anyone? How many people have died in the hospital because they couldn't get the surgery they needed because COVID-19 prevented that from happening? I can tell you, the numbers are not coming out because tech companies are controlling the information that's coming our way. We are really in a place where Joseph Goebbels is controlling what we're hearing and what we're seeing. So this stream of consciousness today is rather serious, but I'm sharing it with you in the hopes that someone might hear it. I'm going to put it up, like I said, on other places because I have a strong suspicion that it's going to be banned. But I want to share with you my heart on this because we need to wake up. We need to screen what we're hearing. We need to not simply believe what we're told by the media. In fact, I wouldn't encourage you to listen to any of it. I have banned Fox News from my personal life. I'm off Fox for the last 3 weeks. I don't listen to Fox at all. And quite frankly, I think a lot of Christians need to ban these networks. You can still get the news other ways. There's other ways, and I can put some links in if you're able to see this video. I'll put some links in on some alternative news places if you're really looking for it. But we're not getting the truth. We're not getting the facts. The facts are being kept from us by tech companies, by companies who have an interest in keeping us locked down so that they can grow their own business. What happens if all the mom and pop stores, which is right now happening, all go out of business? Then Amazon becomes the only place you can go to get the stuff. These large corporations are going to be making money. They are making money hand over fist. The longer we're locked down, the more it's destroying businesses, destroying small businesses, and it's destroying competition. We're running into a situation where the state, the government is becoming everything, where large corporations are becoming everything, where we can't get our information from the news, we can't even trust it anymore. The press at one time was there to keep people honest, and now the press is dirtier and more dishonest than most politicians you'll ever be able to name. So today, this is a very serious stream of consciousness. This is something that I'm sharing with you that comes from my heart and my mind. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to accept it. But I would encourage you to research it. Follow the money. That always gives you a good indication of where things are coming from. It's amazing to me, and it should be amazing to you, that many of these politicians who are screaming and yelling about shutting down and are shutting down their own governments, they're shutting down their own states, they themselves don't follow their own rules. We just heard of Gavin Newsom over in California telling everybody we got to shut down, we can't have any contact with anybody. He goes out and parties with all of his friends. These people are saying you can't have Thanksgiving, you can't have Christmas. I can tell you something, they're not going to be spending that time alone themselves. We've seen it on television. Nancy Pelosi telling everybody you can't open up your hair salon, but she goes out and gets her hair cut. They are absolutely not living the life that they're espousing. And I'm not talking Democrat or Republican. I got to tell you, both parties are disgusting. Both parties are disgusting in terms of the truth that they are not revealing. It's all about an agenda. You as an American, you as an individual, need to see what's going on around you. Pay attention to what's going on around you. It's not about politics, folks. It's about the truth. Now, Jesus said the truth shall set you free, but he wasn't talking about politics, and I don't want to conflate the two. When Jesus said the truth shall set you free, he was talking about himself. And I don't want to make this a political statement, but I do want to encourage you as a stream of consciousness. Open your eyes. Open your ears to what's really going on around you. Because it's easy to flick a switch. Today, Christians are free. Tomorrow, the tech companies can flick a switch and turn Christians into hate groups. You saw that this woman, I just told you about this woman who's banned for saying factual information about transgender operations. Her book was banned. What if a church takes that stand publicly and then the tech companies decide that that's hate speech? They can turn churches into the enemy of the state with a flick of a switch. Tomorrow, we can be in a situation where we're in the same situation as in Russia and in China and other places. Pay attention. Jesus said that the darkness is coming. He says, work while it is still day. Today is still day. I encourage you to share your faith, not necessarily the political dynamics. Don't get into arguments with people over politics. But you yourself research whether these things are true. I want to encourage you in this thing. I'm really serious about this. We are really being exposed to Joseph Goebbels all over again, in my opinion. And it's not necessarily direct against the Jews, but it is going to come towards the Christians. You can almost count on it if things are left the way they are. So, not exactly an uplifting message today, but it is, as I've shared, a stream in my consciousness, and I hope that it's able to stay up on the internet. In any case, thank you for listening. God bless you.